لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. We are continuing with our sessions on Hajj Masails. And to recall quickly about what we have done so far is, number one, we have talked about general principles of what Hajj involves. And we have said that Hajj is of two stages. One is Umrah Tamattu and the other one is Hajj Tamattu. And there are certain principles which we have to keep in mind about the niyat, about Sadaqatul Jariyah, about Sila Raham, Hukuk, forgiveness, writing a will, provision, learning the Qiraat of the Quran, Masails, and being in good health. And then we discussed the metaphors of what happens in it. So today I'll give you only one gem of Medina, because these are not wajib things. We want to cover the Masails, but then I cannot afford but to speak about Medina. So when we are reaching Medina, Medina is Madinatul Munawwara, the Yathrib converted to Munawwara because of the presence of the Prophet. And the Prophet is buried there. And those who die in the way of Allah are not dead, but they are alive, and we do not perceive that the risk comes from Allah and they are alive. That is why in the ziyarat, when we do the ziyarat of the Prophet, we say, وَيَسْمَعُونَ كَلَامِي وَيَرُدُّونَ سَلَامِي. وَيَسْمَعُونَ سَلَامِي وَيَرُدُّونَ وَيَسْمَعُونَ كَلَامِي وَيَرُدُّونَ سَلَامِي. You can hear me. We are telling the Prophet, you can hear me, and you are returning back my salam. So when you are going to do salam to the Prophet, the etiquette should be of that nature, that you are going to do salam to the best of the humankind on earth. So when you enter inside Masjidul Nabawi, you start with Izn Dukhul. Just like it has been ordered in the Quran that do not enter the house of anyone, and that also the Prophet, without first knocking, asking permission. And there is a long dua which is very hard to recite when there are many people flocking inside going to the gate. So you can't stand in the gate and start reading a long Izn Dukhul, permission to enter. But you can feel it inside your heart. And on the gate, feel that sensation that you are asking the Prophet, Adkhulu ya Rasulullah, can I please enter, O Prophet? Adkhulu ya Rasulullah. And then you will feel some sukoon in your heart. And you continue entering, say, Bismillahi wa billahi wa ala millati Rasulillah. And enter by doing dhikr of Allah until you reach the place where you are sitting. Now, I am saying about this not because of having any party of the pro or for and against tawassul. I am only mentioning this from the hadith and what is written in the Quran. And I am not a big alim. I am more on the medical field, but with little experience, we have these books with us. So, once you enter the Haram and you are sitting there, and it is time to continue your Izn Dukhul or other du'as by entering inside the Haram, there is a small ziyarah of seeing the Prophet. You are there with the Prophet, so you recite the first ziyarah in Adabul Haramain. And the last bit of that ziyarah is what is my main topic now for Medina. Then we will go to the Masael. In Surah An-Nisa, ayat number 64, you can write it down, you can quote it. This is forever. This is a gem. This is a diamond for you. This is an ayat which is a tool for you. You can use this as a tool for yourself. You don't need to fight with anybody. Surah An-Nisa, ayat number 64. Allah says in the Quran, وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ إِذْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ إِذْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ جَاءُوكَ فَاسْتَغْفَرَ اللَّهُ وَاسْتَغْفَرَ لَهُمُ الرَّسُولُ لَوَجَدَ اللَّهُ تَوَّابًا رَحِيمًا. What does it mean? Ayat musu meaning tais. Whenever you find yourself that you have done zulm on your nafs, you have done zulm on your nafs, you have done sins, you have done zulm on your nafs. Rasul, you will find lawajadullahu tawwaban rahima. You will find Allah is more forgiving of your tawbah manifold. If you pass through the Prophet, then Allah forgives you manifold. This is an ayat which Allah is telling us in the Quran, that do the tawassul of the best of my creation because I love him. And when he sends the recommendations to me, I will accept it easily. We have to create ourselves to be worthy of that environment. Ask for forgiveness. That is about forgiveness from Allah through the Prophet. And this ayat was revealed in a pillar which is very significant, which is called the pillar of Tawbah. The pillar of Tawbah. It is not that you do all the sins, you touch the pillar and you will be forgiven. No. It is a pillar which reminds us of an event which happened in Medina. It is the event of Abu Lubaba. Abu Lubaba was a convert to Islam from the Jewish religion. He was an old man with white hair and white beard, an old person. So after the Fateh Makkah, when the Prophet came back, and at that time there were a lot of treaties happening, but the Jews of Medina who go until Syria, all over the place they used to torture Muslims and loot them and keep on breaking the rules. So the Prophet keep on sending the warnings. Then one fine day he said, now it is final. If they don't listen to us, we will attack. We will have to defend our brothers. But one last time, Abu Lubaba, you go, because you belong from that community, perchance they will listen to you. But don't tell them the ultimate. So Abu Lubaba went there and started telling them, don't do this. So the ladies, folks and others, they gathered him and they started weeping, tell us what will happen to us. And then he said, by ishara. He said, you will be persecuted. And then he realized, oh, I was told not to say this. I revealed. So he came back to Medina. He tied himself on the palm trunk. At those times there were palm trunks. They were not smooth pillars like what it is now. Palm trunk is very miba like thorns. He tied himself for how many days, asking for forgiveness. The Prophet was in an expedition. When he comes back, an ayat of the Quran comes. And he asks the Prophet, when this ayat comes, he said, let me pray for you. And he was released. He said, Allah has given an ishara that you are forgiven of this sin. So, using the Prophet as tawassul is part of the Quran. Okay? So, let us now go to the Masael. So we reach Medina, we stay there, we'll go to the Haram, we'll see all these beautiful places, Masjid-Quba, Masjid-Qiblatain, the Khandaq, the Maidan of Uhud, and the grave of Hazrat Hamza, and the other stories which go there. Inshallah, we get time, we'll do that while we are there. So now it's Zil Hajj, first or second. It is now time to wear Ihram and go and do Umrah Tamattu. As we said, Hajj has two parts, the Umrah Tamattu and Hajj Tamattu. And Umrah Tamattu, as you can see there for ladies, from Medina, you are first going to the Miqat. The Miqat is Masjid-Shajara. And we said Miqat is an entry point. For those who go to Medina, the entry point is Masjid-Shajara. And it is very recommended to go through Masjid-Shajara because all the A'immas did that. Remember, we talked about this? Now, in Masjid-Shajara is where you will now enter the Haram. Haram means the sanctuary, the place which is pure. Okay? So now you will enter the Haram of Makkah. You have to enter pure. For the first time when you enter, you have to wear Ihram. And therefore we will wear Ihram at Masjid-Shajara. And we said there are two parts, Umrah Tamattu and Hajj Tamattu. In Umrah Tamattu there are 5 items. There is Ihram, Tawaf, Salah, Sa'i, and Taqsir. So we did the Ihram part, right? In Ihram, just briefly for those who are new, Ihram has got 3 components. Making the niyyah after wearing the cloth and reciting the talbiyah. So the white cloth, the niyyah and talbiyah. Okay? Clear? After doing that, 25 things become haram on us. 25 things become haram on us. So, one of the things is perfume. So if you are putting perfume in the state of Ihram, you are not allowed. If you reach Makkah and you want to take a bath, then you can't take a bath with a perfumed soap. You can't brush your teeth with Colgate or whatever because it has smell. And you can't deliberately relish onto a smelly food, nice flavory food. You eat it like a robot. So smell is one of the things, amongst other things which we mentioned, and we'll repeat it again. Then after the Ihram, reciting the Talbiyah on the way, reaching Makkah, then you go to the Kaaba. Right? So Ihram, we said it should be white, cotton, unstitched, no stitched clothes in you for men, and there should be Karibu, Doctor. There should be no stitched clothes. It should be mubah, You should be pak. You should be sufficient length to cover your knees and the navel. Both the shoulders should be covered. We said about those qualities of Aharam, the piece of cloth. Then you make niyyah depending on what kind of Hajj it is. So we got a prototype example from Abbas, I think from Abbas or Ali. He said that it is his first wajib Hajj, so this is how you will do niyyah. For those who are doing niyabat, that niyabat, is it a wajib niyabat of that person whom you are doing niyabat, or is it not a wajib Hajj? Likewise, or if it is your own sunnat Hajj, etc., etc. They are all different niyats. And we said if it is wajib namaz time, you recite wajib namaz, then two rakat tahiyyat masjid before the namaz, then the wajib namaz and 2 rakat of Aharam, and any other du'as which are there in Adabul Haramain. Then you continue reciting talbiyah and reach Makkah. When you reach Makkah, now in Makkah, you either rest, keeping in mind all those 25 things which are haram, and then early morning you go and do tawaf. Or if you feel good and you are not straining yourself, because remember we said, પતાવું નથી, સરખી રીતે કરું છે. હાલો ને પતાવી નાખે. It's not a burden. We have to do it properly. So you go to the Kaaba and we said the rules of Tawaf. Number 1, niyat. Number 2, it starts from Hajar Aswad, ends at Hajar Aswad. Number 3, 7 rounds. Number 4, do not touch the walls of the Kaaba or Hijr Ismail. Number 5, left shoulder should be facing the Kaaba. Number 6, you should be doing the steps deliberately yourself. Sometimes in a big crowd, it's not going to be there hopefully this time, but in a big crowd, you can be standing there and you can be just pushed around. Una buruzwa. That's not right. You have to deliberately be doing the tawaf. Okay? And then the other thing is, don't forget. That's the most important thing. You must be in the state of wudu. Because without wudu, batil. And then we discuss about breaking the wudu before the 4th round and after the 4th round. Now there is one rule which I did not say last time. And I did not want to confuse you last time, but I am saying it now. Because it is a must to know that rule. According to Ayatollah Al-Uzama Sistani, may Allah raise his status and keep on guiding us. He said, if it breaks at 3.5 round, at 3.5 round, it is almost going to 4, but it's almost going to 3. 3.5, dagu magu, right? If it breaks at 3.5 round, you go out, do wudu, finish the 7 rounds and repeat the 7 rounds. So either that mayai and cheese you ate, either you should do the job before the 3rd round or after the 4th round. Nakwambia. You have to be careful of it. So that's a rule which is still not explainable, but the thing is, because there is an element of doubt, 3.5, for those who are very good mathematicians, they will say 3.5 ukiongeza kidogo, it is almost 4. 3.5, if you reduce little, it's 3 decimals, right? Then Ayatollah says, if it's at 3.5, go do wudu, come back, finish 3.5 and repeat the 7 again. Okay? Then we said you overshoot kidogo from the Hajar Aswad line, and then you go to Maqam Ibrahim and recite 2 rakat Salah of Tawaf. Again, I am doing 2 rakat Salah of Tawaf of Umrah Tamattu Wajib Qurbatani Allah. I am doing Tawaf of Umrah Tamattu for Hajjul Islam Wajib Qurbatani Allah. For those who are going first time. For those who are doing Sunnat Hajj, they will do accordingly. So, you do that 2 rakat Salah behind Maqam Ibrahim. If there is a rush during the Hajj time, as much behind as possible, doesn't matter. As long as you know that is Maqam Ibrahim, which is in front of me, in that line. And the niyat is 2 rakat Salah of Tawaf, of Umrah Tamattu, Hajjul Islam, Wajib Kurbatan Ilallah. Okay. And it is exactly same as the 2 rakat Salah of the morning. Remember, in the Qiraat, these things are always a problem. You will see ladies there on the right corner. He, Ain, Dal, Qaf, and how we pronounce this one. There is 6 haraka. Wali Muhammad Jafar will tell you, this is Dwad, and then there is Alif, and there is Madda, and there is a Shadda coming in between. So there is 6 haraka. Waladwalin. 6 haraka. You have to remember this. And keep on practicing now. It will become a habit. So remember the Qiraat in those 2 rakat Salah. If you think about it carefully, Hajj is wajib only once in lifetime, right? Only once. And therefore, the Tawaf of Umrah Tamattu will only happen, once in lifetime. And this Salah will only happen once in lifetime. So do it the right way, without missing it. Because all the rest of the Salah of Tawaf will not be like this one. Even the Salat of Tawaf you do after you come back from Mina, you will not be in the state of Ihram. You will be wearing normal clothes. Even if you do Tawaf, Salah 2 rakats of Tawaful Nisa, you will still be in normal clothes. You won't be in Ihram. In the state of Ihram, there is only one Salah in your life. The Salah of Umrah Tamattu. Do it well. So after doing those 2 rakats of Salah, so we said here, you finish there, you come behind Maqam Ibrahim, you do those 2 rakat Salah, then you go towards Sa'i, towards Safa Marwa. So here there is a little respite. It is not absolutely wajib for you to be in the state of wudu during Safa Marwa. There is no problem. Wudu tuti jaye to tension na liyo, Safa Marwa kare liyo, wando nathi. But if you are in state of wudu, it is better, always. And Sa'i is one of those Sha'airullah described in the Holy Book. Inna Safa wal Marwa min Sha'airillah. These are the signs of Allah. So Safa and Marwa. So when you come out from the Haram, from the Kaaba area, when you go, it will be, if you are facing the Kaaba towards Maqam Ibrahim, it will be on your left side. So people have started on the right side with Marwa, the Sa'i. That's wrong. And they finished 7 rounds and then they realized. Then it is not like let one round be batil and then let's start, that one would be considered. No. You have to start from Safa to Marwa. So when you reach the Safa mountain, nowadays they have put a grill with glass, but it is an uphill kidogo. There you face the Kaaba, so you stand there, face the Kaaba and make niyyah that I am doing Safa Marwa or Sa'i Baina Safa Marwa for Umrah Tamattu, for Hajjul Islam, Wajib Kurbatan Ilallah. And then you say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Bismillah. Then there are a number of du'as to be recited and tasbihat to be recited, highly recommended. It is little spacey problem. I don't know, now it may be little more comfortable, so you can recite dua comfortably. Then you start your Safa to Marwa. In absolute requirement is for you to just walk from Safa to Marwa and Marwa to Safa, Safa to Marwa. Total of 7 rounds. Total of 7 rounds. But you just don't want to do absolute wajib, just walk, wander, think about the whole world. No, you have to focus, right? And you have to remember with the Hajj. Remember we said hope, fear. Ibn Hajar was fearing what will happen to Nabi Ismail. Little 9-month-old, an eagle can come and just take him. A wild animal will take him. He will die of thirst. There is no water. So she is climbing a hillock, looking for water, running towards a mirage. It's not water. Running towards another hillock, coming back, keeping on looking. See, here is where Zamzam is. So in this pathway, she is keeping on looking, signs of life on Ismail. And suddenly when she finishes Marwa, she finds something like water gushing from the feet of Zamzam, of Ismail. And she says to the water, Zamzam, wait, stop. As if the water will go away in the desert and it will be sipped away. In that excitement, she says, Zamzam. That's the water of Zamzam. It's miraculous. By the strike of the foot of Nabi Ismail. So it's the hope and love. Because water is sign of life. Because water is sign of life. When water was seen, then animals started rotating around the area. When animals rotate around the area, the traders who go in the caravans, they look at the animals and they get an ishara of water somewhere. So they would go towards there to feed their animals and give water to their camels. So when they came there, here was a golden opportunity. I give you water, you give us some food. A barter trade. And soon it became a big city that it was amazing of what it is Baladul Amin now. So it is Allah's miracle, you see. So Safa Marwa, people recite Dua Tawassul, people recite Dua Mashlul, Dua Kumail, people just recite Quran or any dua. But remember, keep on counting how many sins have we done. And how many times Allah has hidden our sins. Allah is Satar al-Uyub, Ghafar al-Dhunub. So keep on remembering those sins and keep on weeping and crying and thinking about Allah's forgiveness. So you do Safa to Marwa, Marwa to Safa, Safa to Marwa, 3, Marwa to Safa, 4, Safa to Marwa, 5, Marwa to Safa, 6, and Safa to Marwa. You will finish 7. Okay? It should be continuous, but occasionally because of Salah time, sometimes you can get some interruption. It is fine if the interruption is a short while. It is fine if you take a break because you have arthritis or you have a back problem. A short break, sufficient enough to say it is a short break. Not a long break till you fall asleep. And then you forget that it was, I was on round 3. No, a short little break is fine. Drink some water, relax, continue. For men, as you can see from here, there are 2 green lights or 2 green marks from Safa to Marwa, and from Marwa back in the same area, 2 green lights. These are the lights which are called somewhere you do harwala. Harwala means you trot a little bit. Don't run like a bullet. You just trot. You just make symbolic activity that you are running. It is not recommended for women. It is only for men. Maybe men have to do this because Hajra did it for all the women for them. So we have to do this. So, harwala. It is sunnat and highly recommended. If you miss it out, don't feel guilty. Have batil thi gyu mano sahi nahi. Batil nathi tu, just remember, do it. It's sunnah. Okay? Yes, it's good to. For every round. So when you start Safa, you go slowly, you reach the green light. You will also see other companions there. They have already started trotting kidogo, and you also do that. And then you reach the second green line, you stop. Then walk normal. When you are coming back, same way. Okay? So every time. So, it will be there, it is very prominent, and you will also see people starting to run. So it will remind you, oh, I have to do harwala. So, now according to the Sharias about extension of Safa Marwa, the broad extension, previously it was like as narrow as this and middle pathway. So Safa, you go from Safa to Marwa and Marwa to Safa. It was short, then it has extended, so it has become broader. And according to ulama and people who lived there all their life, they have said that the extension is valid, and Agha Sistani approves to the extension broadly. But the extension up is a problem. Extension down on the earth is fine, because the mountain is made as a peg for you as a sign of God. So that means the mountain goes down in the earth. So if you excavate the earth, you are still between Safa and Marwa. But if you go up with a skyscraper, then you are not between the two mountains. So Agha says, ihtiyat wajib, avoid. Just stay on the first floor, that is the first floor, basement or underground. It is fine. Okay? We will clarify more as we reach there. So that's about Safa Marwa. So once you finish the Safa Marwa, you will finish at Marwa. Right? So when you reach at Marwa, you have finished 4 things. Aharam, Tawaf, 2 Rakat Salah, and Sa'i. Right? Now you have to do Taksir. Taksir means kasoro, little bit. You have to cut little bit of hair, plus sunnat to cut little bit of beard. I have like 5 or 6, so I cut 1. I preserve others. For those who have more, you can cut a little more. And plus or minus nails. Nails alone is not enough. Hair, little beard, little nail. Hair is wajib. And then there are various books and hadiths which mention, no, on the right side, in the forefront of your head, in the foreside, agar, that type of, any place of the head where there is hair, cut it. If you have a disease condition where there is absolutely no hair, then you can cut a beard in lieu of the hair. That's why you can't shave your head. You have to cut little hair. And for ladies also. So if you cut somebody's hair while you are still in the state of Aharam, then it's a kafara. You can't cut another person's hair. So you make niyyah that I am doing taksir for Umrah Tamattu, for Hajjul Islam, wajib Qurbatan Allah. Cut your own hair, then volunteer to, because once you cut the hair, you are out from the state of Ihram. Then you can volunteer to cut hair for your friends and brothers and others. Likewise for ladies. A small little hair is enough. Okay? So the husband or brother or father can snip little hair for her or herself or other colleagues or whatever. So this is Umrah Tamattu. So once you finish Umrah Tamattu, then you stay in Makkah. You stay in Makkah. So we did Aharam, we did Tawaf, we did Salah, we did Sa'i, we did Taqsir. And now we are in Makkah. In Makkah there are a number of things you can see. At Jannat al-Mu'alla, Masjid-Alam, Masjid-Jinn, Abu Qubais, the birthplace of the Prophet, Jabal Nur, Jabal Tor, and the Haram. A question. When we are in the Haram, when we are in Makkah, there is too much materialism going on. The biggest challenge in this generation is not like what it was in our parents. In our parents, they used to look for a place to sleep. So they would be tying mattresses. I have seen my late mother. She would tie the mattress with the rope, take food, take this. We are going to Hajj. Whole kit, because you don't know where you'll get accommodation. You sleep on the street. Like that. That was a challenge. Now you have all the luxuries of it. But the greatest challenge is materialism. A lot of attractions, a lot of designer shops, a lot of luxury. You get easily deviated to it. A lot of argument goes that big minara is golden and it has 6 tons of gold and it changes color when azan happens. When azan happens, you are at Haram, you are in front of the Kaaba. Look at the Kaaba and make dua. Look, color is changing. Look, this is shining. Forget about it. Focus. This is the biggest challenge now here. The greatest challenge now is the distractions which are happening around. And this is a serious problem. So now, we have done Umrah Tamattu. Now you are in Makkah, you relax. This is the time to relax. You are out of Ihram, so you can go have a bath, put your kanzu and put your perfume, relax, enjoy, go every day to the Haram, do Sunnat Tawaf, come back, depending on what is the situation now with COVID and things. So can I have the next slide, please? So we said there were 5 stages of Hajj. Pure intention, repentance, detachment from ungodly things, choosing a co-traveler, and having a good temperament. Remember that first ayat of Surah Baqarah, ayat number 197, that what you need, wala rafatha, wala fusuka, wala jidala. There should be no rafatha and fusuk and jidala, majadiliano, argumentativeness. And rafatha is used also in Surah Baqarah in one place where we are told that your women folk are in their days of pain, so you should not involve with rafatha. It's a very polite way of saying this. So wala rafatha, wala fusuka, wala jidala. But what is the best thing? Is to do good and take the provision. And the best of the provision is good deeds. And if you do good deeds, watazawwadu, and Allah will give you abundantly from that. So do good as much as possible. Leave these arguments, this and this and this. Next slide, please. So there are 3 groups. We said we want to be in the first group. Allah give us the tawfiq to be in the first group that prevent us from the hellfire. Not in the third group that He will return back our expenses and our difficulties, and we will be back with all the money we have spent. We will be getting that barakah of getting back our money. Just get the sawab and the money back. We are not that. We want fukka rakabati minanna. Next one. And then it involves those 5 things which we have mentioned. Next, please. And then ghusl, the Miqat, the Aharam, the Tawaf. Next please. And then the Salah, Sa'i and Taqsir. Right? We covered this. Next please. And then the forbidden acts, whether you are in Ihram or not in Ihram. We said don't pick up things which don't belong to you. Don't keep weapons with you. Don't uproot green, whether you are in Ihram or not in Ihram. This will always apply. So this will also apply in Ihram. Next. Next please. Yeah. So we have the pledge. We have the pledge of our first Imam. We have the pledge from Allah that we will wa'adhin linnasi and make adhan to the humankind to come to the Kaaba. Nabi Ibrahim is told, and Nabi Ibrahim does that adhan to humankind, come for Hajj. And our souls, when they were in Arsh, not yet created, our souls shaked. And that was the first labbaik we got. So we came on earth and we followed the azan of Ibrahim to call us to the Kaaba. So you go there, and then our first Imam is buried there, is born there. And there are 70 Anbiya buried at Hijr Ismail. And it will be in the Maqam where the 12th Imam will rise. It's Makkah. So this is a holy place. Many other things we will discuss as time allows. It is a place where the journey to Mi'raj happened. Just near around about 13 meters away, there was the house of Hani, the sister of Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is where the Prophet came from Medina and first landed there to rest and then go with Burak to Mi'raj. So there are some places which there historically. Some require a lot of imagination though, with time. Next please. Next one. So in the Haram, in the mosque, there are all those places where you can see. After the Umrah, when you are going for the normal tawafs in your normal clothes, then you can look around. Look around, explore, look at Safa, Marwa, how it's constructed and things like that. Next. Next, please. So, this is the Kaaba. The Kaaba has got 4 corners. The first corner is called the Rukne. This is the Hajr Aswad, right? The Hajr Aswad corner. So that one, as you can see there, the corner of Hajr Aswad. Then this one points towards Iraq. So this is called Rukne Iraq. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. You look Rukne Shami, you say Assalamu alayki ya Zainab. You reach Rukne Yamani, this is the place where it is directly in contact with the heavens, where Baytul Ma'mur is existing. And therefore you will find all the Muslims saying, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhabannar. This is a place which is considered to be directly in connection with the heavens, where Baytul Ma'mur is staying there. And this Rukn Yamani corner is the corner where Mustajar of Bibi Fatima bint Asad is there. The place where the wall split and Bibi Fatima bint Asad entered. So it is called Mustajar Bibi Fatima bint Asad. So these 4 corners are there always to remind us some things. Next, please. So there are this Rukne Iraqi, Rukne Yamani, Rukne Shami, and the Rukn of Hajr Aswad, and the Hijr Ismail, the white square, where Bibi Hajra and 70 other prophets are buried. That's why we are not allowed to pray namaz there. But other people pray there. It's fine. You don't pray on a grave, right? You can pray by the grave. Next. So the Mustajar of Bibi Fatima bint Asad is there, Maqam Ibrahim, Maqam Jibril, Maqam the house of Hani, etc. Next. There is also in the vicinity the place where Uzza and Hubal were buried. These are the biggest idols which were broken with the birth of Imam Ali, and they were buried there. So in the olden times there was a gate where you could not go to Tawaf without kanyagaing, like without stepping on it and doing layat on it. But now it is all so much extended. You only have to imagine in the Zamzam and the place of Babe Nadwa, Babe Umrah and Babe Salam or Babe Shuaib. These are historical places. They are not wajib things, but we can always discuss them as we go on to see them. Because when you are going to do Tawaf, you can't stay. Okay, listen, wait. You are all in state of Aharam, anxious. You want to do the Tawaf. You don't know your wuzu will break anytime. Then, wait, I want to show you Babu Shuaib. Wait, I want to show you Babu Salam. Wait, I want to. We will do after the Umrah is over. We go and we watch these places. These are important historical places without wasting a lot of time in other things. Learn. This is golden opportunity. Next, please. Next, so there is Mizab-e-Rahmah, the golden spout, and many other places. Next, please. Then the part 2 is Hajj Tamattu. Part 2 is Hajj Tamattu. So here we have finished Umrah Tamattu. Any questions here first before we go to Hajj Tamattu? So can you change the slides to Umrah Tamattu slides? Leave this Hajj Keki. Yes. Now you can display those slides. So again here we are recalling again the Umrah Tamattu, okay? So for Ihram, 2 pieces of cloth, Niyat and Talbiyah. And the Niyat, after Niyat, immediately you recite Talbiyah. There is a short form, the middle form, and even the longer form. So we will recite this middle form. We'll recite this middle form. Okay, so all of us recite. And remember the Makharij. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika laka labbaik. Next slide, please. So the prohibitions in the state of Ihram, can you see these slides? Is it visible, right? So yesterday we made it in a summary about violent acts, lustful acts, and 4 groups. So you can see here it's all combined together. Once you wear your Ihram and you make the Niyat and Talbiyah, then these 25 things become haram. So for example, hunting, marital relation, even touching your own spouse with a sense of desire is haram in the state of Ihram. And the kafara differs for each one of them. For some of them it's a camel, for some of them it's a goat, for some of them it's a cow. For some, it is just to do istighfar and repeat the talbiyah. For example, by mistake you looked at a mirror, by mistake you do istighfar and recite again the talbiyah. So you can read these parts, and then putting scent, wearing stitched clothes by men, covering legs, or wearing gloves and socks for women. They are not allowed. They have to keep their hand open, their soles, their feet open, and their face open. In the light of COVID, if you are wearing a mask to protect yourself, it's allowed. New Sharia. Applying surma or wanja, anything. Looking at the mirror for purpose of beautification. Wearing shoes or slippers which cover the front part of the leg for men. Lying and abusing. Next, please. Killing of insects, quarreling, swearing, killing of insects, self-beautification like henna and other things, applying oil, even if it is not scented. Removal of hair, that's why you don't comb. If you comb, there might perchance your hair will come out, so better to leave it. And then covering the head or ears or any part thereof for men. For men, if you are sleeping in the state of Aharam, then you cover till here. You keep your head and face open and your legs open. So your Aharam is enough when you are sleeping. Your head is open, your legs are open. Okay? And then remaining under the shade or traveling in the shade except at night. Now the Sharia here says, for example, you come out from Masjid-Haram and now you are going to Makkah. You are in the state of Ihram. You are in a shaded car, but it's at night. At night it's allowed. There's no problem. During daytime it's not allowed because you have to get your head burnt. You burn here so that you don't burn there. At night it doesn't matter. But if at night it rains, then you have to come out of the car and expose yourself to the weather. If you still continue traveling when it is raining, it's kafara. Even if it is not your fault. So for example, once we were going in the bus, and the bus goes in the highway, and it started raining. Some people were sleeping, some awake, some reciting talbiyah, and we saw it's raining. So we could not even take our head out because it's air conditioned, and you can't take your head out in that speeding bus. It's risky. So you can't tell, stop, we want to come out, all of us. It's not allowed, it's on a highway. Kafara. You know, it's not your fault, but it's kafara because it was raining. So if you are in a private car, for example, or the bus driver is sensitive and knows about our Sharia, maybe he would stop in a parking lot and tell you, okay guys, get down, expose yourself to the rain, then we can go back to the journey. So at night it is allowed, daytime is not allowed. If you are walking under a shade deliberately to get the shade, it's not allowed. But if you are walking and there are skyscrapers giving you shade, it's fine, no problem. Or if you are walking with, what Sheikh Alidina used to say, if you are walking with, who is that? Kon olo Birani Kon? The big guy? Huh? Samir. He said if you are walking with Samir and if a small little guy like me, you can walk with him, let him get the sun and you are taking his shade, no problem. So, if it is a natural way of somebody passing by and giving you a shade, it's okay, but you don't do it deliberately. You are just walking together, it's fine. So this is on a lighter note. So, wearing of arms, extraction of teeth, cutting nails, removal of blood from the body, these are all things which we mention about. Next slide, please. So this is Kaaba by night. A lot of things have changed, but if you see in this slide, the down part which is all reddish in color, that was the old Turkish Ottoman Empire construction. It is now no more. It's all modernized. Everything is gone there. This was like 1995, 96, I think. Next, please. And this is during the day. And remember, it is an anti-clockwise. Remember, wal asr, innal insana lafi khusr. By the time is not in your favor. You are going anti-clockwise. Utilize it the right way. Next, please. And Salat inside Masjid-Haram is 1,000 times better than Salah anywhere else. 100,000 times. It's the house of God. And to us, because it is a birthplace of a special personality, why does a building, just a small little cube, become so holy? Why does the mosque of the Prophet is 10,000 times more Salah? Because their personality is buried there. Why doesn't any other mosque become that holy? This is a part of a tawassul. You go in a holy place, you get more sawab to recite namaz. You go pray at home, you get less sawab. So make effort to pray all the salah in the haram as much as possible. Okay? Next, please. So this we have seen and discussed a little bit. Next, please. Next one. So this is the door of the Kaaba. In Surah Dua Sabah, there is an ayat there which says in Dua Sabah, "O my Lord, I am knocking the door of your mercy with my sinful hands. Ilahi kara'atu babu rahmati biyadi rajai." These hands are sinful and I am knocking your door. It may not be possible to literally hold the door, but when you are at that door, start thinking about it. This is the door of the house of God. If you think about it, the book by Ali Shariati says, if you think about it carefully of the house of God, then you think just this little cube, really I'm disappointed. It's not like Taj Mahal, it's not like Eiffel Tower, it's not like the wonders of the world. It's just like a small, inconspicuous cube made with black bricks and a black cloth. It's nothingness. 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 No materialism. This is the house of God. There is nothingness in it. You are in perpetual, infinite mercy of Allah. Just don't put material things there. This is an infinite, merciful house. It is not a decorative house. It is not a bungalow of a millionaire. No. It is just a simple house telling you how much committed are you to the house of God. That you will have to face it to pray the Salah 5 times a day. The whole of the mankind, whoever accepts Islam. This is Kaaba. Can you imagine when you are at Kaaba, the whole world is actually pointing towards that in their Salah times. In America, maybe 12 hours difference than Japan. And then you come here, Malaysia, India, Pakistan, Middle East, Africa, Europe. At any one point of time, there are people facing the Kaaba and you are there. The positive energy coming to you. It's amazing. Think about it. Next. Then the black stone, we'll talk about it in details. Next, please. Maqam Ibrahim. Next, the Zamzam. In the olden times, there was a way down into the underneath the Kaaba where you could drink the water. Now they have sealed it. The water is tapped and you can get it outside before Safa. And even in Safa Marwa, there is Zamzam water being supplied. Next. This is Safa Marwa. It's at upper level and the down level as we discussed. Next. And then the rules. Ihram, Tawaf, 2 Rakat Salah, Sa'i and Taqsir. Next please. So we have said about conditions of Tawaf. To be in the state of wudu, your clothes should be packed, the Ihram should be packed. For gents, this is a requirement. Clothes should be lawful and making the niyat. Next one please. And the obligatory things which we already mentioned, these are the obligatory things. Next please. Next, you can play this, it's a kind of a video. That's one. Next. So you start from Hajr Aswad. Next. You pass in between Maqam Ibrahim for Hajj. You are allowed to go out. Next. And these are, next one please. These are the regulations. At 3.5, you remember we said this? Before 3.5, after 3.5. It's fine. At 3.5 is a problem. Next. 2 Rakat of the Tawaf. Recommended Surah Kafirun, but if not sure about memorizing it, then Surah Ikhlas is fine. Next one please. The Sa'i. Next one. Taqsir. Last. That's it. So we have finished Umrah Tamattu. Now next session will be starting our journey for Hajj Tamattu. And just to give you an overhead of that one, in Hajj Tamattu, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 items. Don't be frightened. They are very simple. The first one is you go to the Miqat and do niyat for the Ihram. You wear Ihram to enter the Haram, you have to wear Ihram to go out of the Haram for Hajj. So you have to wear the Ihram. Your Miqat is your house, the place where you are staying in Makkah. There are sunnat things about it. So Ihram will be the same rules. Then you go to Arafat. In Arafat there is nothing to do. It is only wajib from Dhuhr to Maghrib to stay over. That's wajib. But it has a lot of significance such that you should not even blink your eye. From Dhuhr to Maghrib. Wukuf of Arafat, to stay in Arafat is wajib. And this is wajib aini. Wajib aini means, if by any means you are not able to do wukuf of Arafat, there is no Hajj. The Hajj is batil. You have to convert your Hajj to another type of Hajj, which is called Hajj Ifrad, like Hajj Mufrida, Umrah Mufrida. But the presence, physical presence of a person for wajib Hajj is Arafat. No Arafat, no Hajj. So, that's significant. Then you go to Muzdalifah at night. Again, wukuf of Muzdalifah, just stay over and do dhikr of Allah. Then in the morning when the sun rises, you go to Mina. When you go to Mina, you hit the big shaitan first. And then you go and do Qurbani and shave your head. So that's over. First part. Then you have to stay in Mina for 11th and 12th night. Then you have to stone all the 3 shaitans on 11th and 12th. Then after the 12th, when you stone all the 3 shaitan, you can go back to Makkah and do the Tawaf. 2 Rakat Salah, Safa Marwa. And then Tawafun Nisa and 2 Rakat Salah of Tawafun Nisa. This all you know already, right? We will go one by one slowly and we will see how it goes. So now I'll take questions. Yes. You can ask. Uh-huh.
Somehow, if I'm not very particular about the distance covered, and I assume if it is not even 3.5, so I just I go and
Your wazoo broke at
yeah,
3.5.
but I'm not good at it. I'm not sure.
Not sure. Anything not sure in Tawaf? Tawaf batil. Anything not sure about Tawaf? Tawaf batil. Is it 3.5? Okay, 4. Is it before 3 or after 4? Is it my third or the fourth? Is it 5th or the 6th? Is it 6th or the 7th? Batil. Any doubt during Tawaf? Go do wudu and come back and repeat. Any doubt? Any doubt about the number of the Tawaf? Tawaf batil. So, any other questions? I think you are good, huh? You feel like going now, right? Maybe. Any questions, please just ask now, as much as you can ask. Don't feel shy. Ahmad, maybe, Uliza was here. Ask. Abbas. All the niyats are best done with yourself, that you hear yourself. You don't need to do it loud. So you can do it just like. Did you hear my niyat? Did you hear it? But I did it with moving my lips so that it stays. Because sometimes it's automatic. Automatic because you do wudu. Sometimes you say it's automatic, it's wudu for Salah. No, you have to deliberately think that you are doing wudu for Salah. So if you speak it out kidogo, it will keep your focus. Yani kama me start engine kidogo. So, any other question? Yes. So scratching. If you scratch, and if you have a tendency of scratching and it will bleed, then you have to be very careful. If your Aharam becomes najis because of any blood during Tawaf, such as when you get hurt on your toe. It happened to me once. I had a longer toenail and it just flicked up. I got hurt from the person in front and the toenail went up and it started bleeding. So immediately I had to control it. I had to come out, control the bleeding, do wudu and go back inside. Luckily there was no blood on the floor. Otherwise you are responsible for it. So cut your nails short. In Makkah and Medina, the days you will be in Medina, it is very dry, very dry, very dry. Desert sand. And even the little walk we do from the hotel to the Haram to Jannatul Baqi, it is enough to crack the feet. Some people have got a tendency of feet cracking. And if the feet cracks, and you are in a state of Ihram, now you are doing Tawaf, from the crack, blood can come out. So in Medina, make sure you always put some Vaseline, soften your leg, wear socks, even for men, wear socks to protect that dryness of the soil. Okay? So that you protect your leg, it doesn't crack. Cracked feet is a big serious problem. Then you can't wear socks in Ihram for men. You can't put a bandage. Now you'll have to, for medical reason, because there was bleeding in one of the the Hujjaj, then we actually had to dress him because there were very deep cracks. So be careful about that. No, ladies are not allowed to wear socks. Socks and gloves are not allowed. And covering the face, the niqab. During ihram only. Otherwise you can do it proper. So in Medina, protect yourself from the cracks of the feet. So, yes, Hussein.
After we given the news that our Quran is done by one of the officials. So after we have done the shaving.
Hajj tamattu you are talking about? Yes. We will come to that details. Okay, you tell me first your question so I can mentally prepare also.
My question was that our Ihram is, after we have done the complete shaving, are we supposed to continue wearing the Ihram or our Ihram?
So once you come from Arafat, you go to Muzdalifah. From Muzdalifah, you go to Mina. The first act in Mina is to stone the big shaitan. The second act is to do Qurbani. Once you do the Qurbani, then you have to shave your head. It has to be in sequence. It has to be in sequence. You can't jump. So once the Qurbani is done, whoever is doing Qurbani for you, Niyabat, because the whole batch of 100 people cannot go. So some volunteers will go and take 10 names. I'll do Niyabat for you. Shafiq will do Niyabat for other 10. Imtiaz will do for other 10, like that, for example. They do Qurbani. Once they do Qurbani, they call Group A. Qurbani is done. Then you can shave your head and you are out of the state of Aharam. But here we will discuss more. The state of Aharam, coming out of Aharam in Hajj Tamattu is in stages. It is not in total. So once you do the Qurbani and the Halak, then you are allowed to wear stitched clothes. You are allowed to look at the mirror. It's fine. But still, perfume is not allowed and marital relation is not allowed. Once you finish Safa Marwa of Hajj Tamattu, after Safa Marwa, perfume is allowed. But still, marital relation, not allowed. Once you finish Tawaful Nisa, then everything is allowed like normal. It is in stages. We will come to it, okay? Inshallah, we will come to that one. So, no more questions? I think it's time now, right? We'll stop here. Inshallah, we'll meet on Wednesday. If you have any questions, there is a WhatsApp group. You can just shoot a question there and you will be answered. Now, it's not my WhatsApp though, so you can't get me easily, but you will get the answer. Okay? Careful. Sorry? Ladies' ihram, the best ihram for ladies is a full chadar. It can be any cloth and it can be stitched. But it is ihtiyat sunnat to wear the symbolic white salwar kameez and the longer top. Cotton, people prefer to wear it, but it's not absolute. A proper hijab is the requirement for ihram for ladies. I think we will stop here, inshallah. We'll meet on Wednesday. You wanted to ask me something? Your name is? Muhammad Mursi.